Let us begin by reading the word problem out loud. A college student had a balance of $2,200 on his credit card. He continuously made monthly payments of $150 towards his credit card balance. How many payments were made if his balance is now $400? So let us begin our strategy for problem solving by analyzing the problem. The first thing you want to do when analyzing the problem is you want to identify the question that's being asked. In this case, the question is, how many payments were made? So now that we know what are asked to find, we already know what a variable is going to represent. So let us go ahead and assign a variable. In this case, keep in mind that we can use any letter. We're going to go ahead and use the variable x. So we'll let x represent the following. X is going to equal, therefore, the number of monthly payments the college student made. So there we go. That's going to be our assignment of the variable. So now let us go back to analyzing the problem. So let us start off by reading the first sentence one more time. A college student had a balance of $2,200 on his credit card. So we know the balance. The balance is $2,200 on his credit card. That's what the student had at one point. So we're going to want to take note of that number. And again, that's being the balance. Now let's go move on to the second sentence. Now it says that he continuously made monthly payments of $150 towards his credit card balance. So here we go. So continuously made monthly payments of $150. So the key things in this sentence is the actual number. So he's paying $150 towards his credit card. And another key thing is that monthly. So he's making these payments monthly and continuously. And now the other thing is the fact that we know that his balance is now $400. So originally the balance was $2,200, and then he started making monthly payments of $150 each month, which decreased his balance. And now he's at the point where his balance is $400. So now let's go ahead and create an equation. Our equation is going to have the following structure. So what we're going to want to keep in mind is the total balance, and that's going to be equal to the balance he now has plus the balance he's already paid. So here we go. We'll go ahead and start off by filling out the information that we already know. So I'll go ahead and start off with my equal sign. Now the total balance, that's the balance he began with at the very beginning, and that number is going to be $2,200. And then we also know the current balance as well. That's equal to $400. And we're going to add to that the balance already paid. So the balance already paid, that's going to be a specific quantity. And we already have a formula for quantity. Let me go ahead and write it down at the top. So that equation is quantity is equal to rate times time. And we actually have to be able to fill this equation out. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with the equal sign. Now the rate, that was already given to us, that's actually in blue. And we know that to be 150. And then we're going to have to multiply that by the time. Well, the time, that's actually what we're looking for, and that's represented by a variable x. So we'll go ahead and fill that in with x. So this is going to be the balance that's already been paid off. So let us go ahead and fill that into our equation. So we're going to have 150 x. So there we go. That's going to be our equation. So now let's go ahead and solve the equation. We'll start off by bringing the equation down. So we have 2,200 is equal to 400 plus 150 x. So now keep in mind when solving the equation, you want to get the variable completely by itself. So there's the variable x. currently we're multiplying x by 150, and then we're also adding 400 to it. So whenever solving, you always want to eliminate the addition or subtraction part first. So you're going to want to eliminate the addition of 400. The only way to do so is by the opposite operation. Opposite operation of addition is subtraction. So we're going to have to subtract by 400. But not just to one side, but to both sides of the equation. So on the right hand side, the positive 400 minus 400 simplify out, and we're left with 150x. And then on the left hand side, once you carry out the subtraction, we end up with 1,800. And feel free to verify that. So again, we want to get the x completely by itself. Right now we're multiplying the x by 150. So we want to eliminate that multiplication. The only way to do so is through the opposite operation, which is division. And we end up dividing by the number we want to eliminate, which in this case is 150. And we do that to both sides. So then on the right hand side we have 150 divided by 150. So this simplify out to give us 1, or 1x, which is equivalent to just x. And then once we divide 1,800 by 150, we end up with 12 as our solution. So we now know that x is equal to 12. So now let us go ahead and see our conclusion clearly. Keep in mind the question was how many payments were made. So we're going to want our conclusion to basically be the same thing as a question, but reworded in the form of a statement. So we'll go ahead and write down the following. So the college student has made 12 monthly payments of $150. So now that we've stated the conclusion, let us go ahead and check the result. Again, when checking the result, you want to start off with the original equation found in step 3. So we'll have 2,200 is equal to 400 plus 150x. However, we now know the value of x. We're going to go ahead and substitute that in. Everything else will remain exactly the same. And now we know that x is equal to 12. So we'll substitute that in its place. And then again, we're going to have to bring down the 2,200. And we're also going to want to bring down the 400. And 150 multiplied by 12, that gives us 1,800. So we're going to go ahead and bring that down. And then on the right hand side, 400 plus 1,800, that gives us 2,200, which is exactly the same as what's on the left hand side of the equation. So we end up with a true statement, and therefore that verifies that our solution is correct.